What mountain would you recommend someone to start with?
You haven't depended on the mountain in your life. For real. Jishinde ushinde. So one of the mountains that I'd recommend you start with if you are starting out to climb is a personal one. There's this school that I ever wanted to go to. I didn't go to it due to my grades, but the motto was Jishinde ushinde. So start by conquering yourself. Mountaineering is a very mental game. There's some physical aspects to it. But start with deciding and saying that it's a difficult thing and I'm going to conquer it. Then start with the usual walks around your estate, around your home. Then graduate to, if you're in Nairobi, you can go to Ngong Hills, and then to go to Longonot, then try Kilimambogo in Thika, then go to the Aberdares, maybe start with Elephant Hills. Now, once you start going to Aberdares, then you're starting getting the gist of it, and then if you're going the professional, they'll teach you how to hike, they'll teach you the technique, so that by the time you're going to these higher altitudes, then you don't get these things that I got at first, the altitude, the tiredness. You are able to progress very well.
If you want to start, I think first thing is just get the right equipment, because you want to start when you're comfortable. So right shoes. Ask people who have done this before. That would be the first thing. Ask people who have done it before, what they think, like your kind of clothes you would wear and that kind of stuff. But if you're starting off, I would say do Ngong Hills, not all the 7. Just do like 1, 2, or 3 till the 3rd or 4th hill, till the summit of Ngong Hills. Then come down. Then the next time finish all of them. Then do Longonot. If you're hiking or do mountaineering, we say like do 2,000 before you go higher than that. So anything between 2,000 to 3,000 will be good for a couple of times. Then you go to like 3,001, which most of them are in the Aberdares. So Mount Ngong Hills rather, and then Mount Longonot. I would advise them to do that to begin with.
How about hiking trails?
Hiking trails, you can do like Karura hiking. One place that people don't go a lot to is Royal and Scout Camp in Kibera. They have a lot of hiking trails, so you can walk around there for a couple of times. So those are the 2. If you're planning to do it here in Nairobi, you can start with those. And also you can actually do, it's not like a known one, it's around Lukenya, around like Daystar University. There's like a trail that goes all around the outside fence of Daystar. It's nice and moderate. You can like start with those to like warm your body up. So those are the hiking trails here in Kenya I would suggest if you're planning to do them here. I think the outdoors, hiking, outdoor adventure, mountain climbing, they teach you a lot about yourself. From how resilient you are. It's just a different setup from what you're used to, like being in the house, maybe just going into town and that kind of stuff. So it's just a different place and a different setup and a different vibe that you get, and you just see how much stronger you are as a person, the way you can actually conquer stuff if you believe in yourself. So I'll say you should just try it out and see what you're kind of capable of. And most of the people who've never done hiking and they've tried it once or twice always like go back to it. So as soon as you start hiking the outdoors, and if you do it in a like controlled and well-planned fashion, you'll actually like it, because a lot of people don't like it, just go start doing like high adventure kind of stuff which they might not be ready for. So I would say it just shows you who you are, how different you are and how strong you are, both mentally, physically and emotionally.
Now, there's this famous quote by the first known person to ever climb Everest, George Mallory, who said, "You climb because it's there." So one of the reasons to do that is do it because it's there. But one of the reasons why I do the climbs is it just gives me a good time to think about myself, to just unpack everything that has been going around in the city. Plus, it just feels good to attain something. So you do Ngong Hills and you feel you've achieved. You go to Longonot, you feel you've achieved. You go to the Aberdares and there are 8-9 peaks that you can do that, and you just feel like you're going on. Then once you finish Mount Kenya, you feel like I need to go somewhere else. And you're like, let me go to Kilimanjaro. So you start becoming an international hiker. And then you go to Ethiopia and you experience a different hike in Ethiopia, and you go to Morocco and feel and experience another different hike. And then one day you find yourself you're climbing Everest, and you just started from the normal hike in your village or homestead around the estate.
So I got the opportunity to hike the Grand Canyon in and out of it. It's really good, like from the photos and stuff, but the main thing that I got from that really like was a good thing was there's this military guy who was playing a flute early in the morning, and it bounced off the walls of the Grand Canyon. And just that moment in peace and in silence, like we are like hundreds of people over there, but like everybody was quiet. Just those moments like where there's a lot of people and you're by yourself. That's one of the things I always remember, and it was one of my favorite trips.
And this is one of the reasons why I decided to do mountaineering, is after the 5 days of being rained on and getting sick, we woke up at 3 a.m. to start summiting. We were coming from the Narumuru side, and so from the last camp, which is in Makindas, going to Lenana is about 6 kilometers. And we woke up at 2 a.m. to start hiking, and they kept on telling us, we were waking up at this time so that you can go and see the sunrise. And I was like, I see the sunrise at home every day, but I didn't know what I was about to experience. And we walked all the way up. There was a lot of snow. We walked through the glaciers, and there was lakes, frozen lakes on the way that we had to use our headlights to watch. And then at around 5:15, 5:30 in the morning, the sun started coming up, and we realized we were actually above the clouds. When you looked down, you'd see the clouds about maybe a kilometer below you, and the sun is coming up from the horizon, and it's red and orangish. It's a big ball of fire, not as the small one that you see here in Nairobi. And you can see the rest of the land in Kenya, and you're feeling like you're the highest person on the land at that point. And it just gives you some sense of achievement and the solitude that comes with it. You're with other people, but you're by yourself also. And you just feel like you're one with nature, and you want to experience that all the time. It's like being high, and it never lasts. So you enjoy that moment at that moment, and you want to take photos, and you want to celebrate, and you see the peaks and the orange reflecting from the cliffs, and it's just an amazing view. And I want to do that for the rest of my life as much as I can do it. One that comes to mind right now is in 2011, we had gone hiking with a couple of friends from Daystar. Actually, my first client ever to climb a mountain with. And we're climbing Mount Kenya from the Narumuru side, and all of a sudden, the clouds just came in and covered everywhere. We could barely see 3 meters ahead of us. And because I was ahead, I was leading from ahead as the head guide, I just missed one corner on the Narumuru side and got lost. And luckily we got lost for about 4 hours, and the clouds cleared out, and I could actually see the general direction I was supposed to be. But instead of arriving at camp as far as we had estimated, we ended up arriving at camp at 10:30 in the night, and we were supposed to wake up to summit the next day, which we did. Now, the interesting thing is on the way down, it was actually clear. And when coming down, we were showing guys where we got lost, and we realized that we were in the bog less than 3 meters away from where the actual road was. So the bog was just delaying us because we had to lift our legs up and go down ditches and fall into the bog. Bog is this large grass which contains water, and it gets really muddy. So we spent 6 hours just walking parallel to the road that was less than 3 meters away from us.
We were canoeing, cave canoeing somewhere called Bloomington. It's like south of Indianapolis in Indiana. And when you're canoeing, you just use a regular canoe. But that water body had rapids in it. And rapids, you're supposed to use an inflatable that's easier to maneuver and that kind of stuff, not a 2-person or 3-person canoe. So we hit massive rapids, and our canoe flipped over. And sometimes as black people, yes, we know how to swim, but water, sometimes people think that we can't handle water. So when our canoe flipped, I forgot how to swim too. But I had a life jacket, totally forgot how to swim. So I was drinking water while going downstream. So my facilitator tried to get me and the other canoes tried to get me. They couldn't get me. They found me at about 35 minutes when I was all the way downstream. I had already given up on life. I was still breathing and laughing, but I totally forgot how to swim. I couldn't so I was just being taken by the water and the canoe. So that was one life-changing experience. And since that day, actually, I stopped doing water sports. A lot of them, I usually do them regularly here and there, depending on the level of rapids. But after that, I came back to mostly land or air or underground adventure. Yes.
Another funny story is, so the sleeping bags are quite thin, and if you're used to duvets and blankets, they are very restrictive. So this guy on Kilimanjaro is sleeping, and the cabins in Kilimanjaro are very nice, very comfortable. So I guess he must have forgotten that he was on the mountain and he was home. So while he was in dreamland, he decided to turn on his bed and so we were in a different room at 2 a.m. and we just had a thud from the other room. And Rudy and I and some two guys who were in the same room, we knew I'm a light sleeper, so I had the third, and I thought I was the only one who had the third. And we just kept quiet. I kept quiet. Then in the room that we had the third from, we just had someone asking, "Uko sawa?" which meant, "Are you okay?" And we had yes. So about 34 guys just burst out laughing at night at once. Only to find the next day that someone was standing in the sleeping bag and they fell from the upper bank of the bed. And the third you had was because the floor is wooden. They didn't get injured, and it was a fun story to say.
So I was hiking up Mount Kilimanjaro, my first time hiking up Mount Kilimanjaro with two of my friends. One is called Agata and the other one is called Muhoro. It was it was an interesting hike in the sense that there's a place where you reach and you get around the crater of Kibo. So Kibo is like where Uhuru Peak is located, it's like the rim. And I remember Muhoro and I virtually kind of gave up. We didn't want to go. And weird thing, in our culture, if two men are holding hands, people will be like, what's going on? So remember Muhoro and I held hands together like a couple, like virtually hugging all the way up the mountain, talking to each other, hugging each other, virtually even nearly kissing each other. So I think that's one of the elements whereby you meet a brother on the mountain and together, like doing it together, we were able to go all the way up. We kind of forgot where Agata was, but we found him ahead of us somewhere. Yes.
So your normal fitness level should be, not your normal, your fitness level as a climber is, we don't ask for much. Start small, start doing, if you're aspiring hiker, start doing a kilometer walk in the evenings after work. Then start doing runs as you head up. First start training earlier. If you're going to do a Mount Kenya hike, maybe start preparing 6 months before the hike. So you start doing the local walks in your estate, and then start doing runs. That will increase your cardio capacity because of the oxygen situation up there. If you can get a gym and an instructor who you can explain to that I'm going on the mountain, they'll be able to guide you. And then also try and get yourself in a mental place that you shouldn't give up very easily, because it's, as I said, it's about 30% mental. So just get your mind right, If you need to enjoy music on the hike, bring up your phone or your iPod. Just listen to music to get you through to the next day.
You should have definitely some fitness. Like for me, what helps me more, I usually do a lot of cardio. That helps me a lot. And I usually, at least every 5 to 7 months, I usually go get my heart checked and that kind of stuff. So I would say do a lot of cardio, drink water. Some people will tell you eat different foods. I just eat. But just do a lot of exercise, cardio, mental health, mental strength. Sometimes it's not all physical when you're outdoors. Sometimes your mental strength is also very needed rather. So mental strength is one of the aspects, and physical strength too. So I'll say those two. Yes, but definitely some level of fitness is required. Maji tena. Sorry. So in terms of outdoors, let me start with the hiking, then I go to outdoors. Like there's three things I want to do here in Kenya, then some other ones outside. Let me start with the three here. So I want to go camping on top of Mount Ololokwe. So it's like a 3-hour day hike, but I've always wanted to go to Mount Ololokwe. It's like on your way to Samburu. So that's one I want to do. I've never gotten the chance to do it when people are going. That's one I want to do. I want to go up Mount Meru because I hear it's harder than Kilimanjaro. So I want to see if that's the case because people feel mountains differently. And I want to try Ruwenzori. So Ruwenzori has 4 peaks. So I'll either do the highest one or all of them 4. So it's either 1 or 4, not 1 or 2, just 1 or 4. So those are my current bucket list right now. And then in the future, I want to go back to water. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'll try jump into water again. So yeah, that's my bucket list.
One of my bucket list that I'd like to do, which I set, one of the goals that I set out last year was to do Mount Kenya in 24 hours this year. And I'm hoping to do that. I'm training for that, and I hope to do it between March and May. But I'd also like to conquer every high point in Africa, of every country in Africa. I think that Africa is a big enough continent to explore, and I don't think it's been explored enough. And like everyone else who wants to go to the Himalayas, I think I'm in love with South America, so I'd also like to try and do the Andes and Patagonia ranges, which to me are just beautiful.